I'm not that good at practical things. It's like I have some strengths, but I haven't really tried them out in what people call the real world. I have creative problem solving. So when I struggle with anatomy, for example, instead of dealing with the parts that I struggle with, I work around it and just make a lizard man. I do try to learn in the process. Does this always work? No. No, it doesn't. It does. It does sometimes. I get lucky. If I do it enough times, I'll probably learn. Plus, I mean, to get away with just making people into lizard people, it only works if you only do lizard people every now and then. And then sometimes you do rabbit people, sometimes you do whatever, and you learn new techniques for how to cope with your inability over time until you're tired of trying out all the different ways of coping with your inability. So you end up actually learning the thing you wanted to avoid learning, and then you have new options to cope with, like new problems to cope with. It's great. Like for example, when I first started out, I couldn't draw positions. Like I couldn't draw people posing, so I would just draw people kind of standing there, always looking directly at the camera, but I would give them different hair, or give them different clothes, or just make them blue, or just make them purple, because back in the day I had very little options to cope with my inability of drawing positions. And then over time I was like, well, this is boring, I'm just gonna draw like fucking poses only. Then I drew poses, and I realized I can't draw clothes. So I just drew more and more extreme poses where people would just be doing headstands and being naked because I thought it was funny. But really, it was only half funny, and half me trying not to learn how to draw clothes because it's ass. And then currently I have a similar thing with hair, and it's like... Plus, I mean, I'm still struggling with clothes. Don't get me wrong, I'm still struggling. Oh my god, there's so much to consider. But then I managed to shuffle things together out of my skill set to a point where I can convince people that aren't as much into art as I am that I'm very skilled at what I do. Because it would appear that way if you don't see the pattern of how I bullshit with my my like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Let me just add dots that have like a vague mushroom resemblance and then make the background some random shape pattern and just kind of... I know how the composition's supposed to work, so I just slap something in there and hope it makes sense. Because what am I gonna do? Draw an actual background with like proper trees with contrast and like brown barks? You know how hard it is to work with fucking brown? I mean, I use brown for this guy's hair in this specific video, but you fucking try drawing brown things in like nature, because there's a reason why I draw so much with purple, dark purple as contrast, and then just vague light pastel colors. And it's not just because I like those colors, even though I do like those colors, but it's also because, fuck me, brown and green are terrible. They're terrible. I mean, they're good. I'm all for fucking nature, you know, it's nature, but pretty good. Nature's a good one. Should probably not murder that. It's, you know, I'm all for nature. But also, god damn it, it's like, the darker you make something, brown is like orange yellow, but super dark and super high contrast. Otherwise it just looks like dust or like poo or like sad diarrhea, right? Nobody wants that. So it's like, get like a thick, barky, dark brown. And you try putting that on like a tree or something and lighting it properly. That shit is hard, because you can't just draw the lines of where the roots are supposed to be. No. Your lines are gonna be invisible because, you know, they're overshadowed almost by the super dark brown color that you're using to color them in with. So it's like you spend 10 years being like, yes, all my intricate detail that I totally know how to do. I'm just gonna draw roots, and I'm gonna make the lines all beautiful, and I'm gonna just shuffle some random bullshit together. And then you want to slap some brown onto them, but what's that? Suddenly all your lines are invisible, and instead you just see the sad blob of brown color you've just put there, which on one side is frustrating as hell. On the other side is a good way to transition into more painterly art, because now you can work with the magical land of contrast and shape instead of thinking in lines. So instead of drawing like all the lines to make roots, you just start off with like a massive fucking fat blob of brown, and then you kind of sculpt out where you want the roots to be. And to an extent, that works. It's quite nice. But then you still need to like shade it and put lights on it later on. And man, it's just so time consuming. You could instead just draw vague lines as to represent roots and then slap some light pastel yellow underneath and have that as your one highlight color. And everybody would know, oh, it's roots, I can tell because of the lines. And oh, isn't this scene beautiful? But no, it's all lies. It's all based on lies. There's nothing real. There's nothing real. I'm a fraud. I'm a pastel fraud. I'm here compensating by drawing a green man with brown hair, which I totally, the background... we'll get to that later. But, he has a green shirt. He has brown hair. Which I didn't shade. Fucking goddamn it. But it's like... It's so easy to cheat, You see this hair, you'd think, oh, I don't know what you mean, Rose. This looks good. No, said no one ever. No, you'd think, this looks all right. I don't know what you're talking about. And yeah, it looks all right. You know why? Because it's easy to cheat. I don't know where you are in the video. How much footage do I have? I'm talking for 7 minutes. Okay, we're about at the end. Yeah, it's like, look at them. It's just red blobs. I'll work on this. And I'll stop overcompensating. You'll see. I'll see.